Hi, welcome to IG Live, and this one is going to be really, really good today. I'm already going to call it in advance, and it's going to be one of your favorites. So what we do today is we have Tibi Uni, right? University for anyone who doesn't get that. But welcome to Tibi Uni. So actually, I have a cheat sheet. I'm going to just look at my notes here so I don't screw this up, because there is a lot of learning today to be done, and I want to set this up properly. So a quick recap first. We have a lot of new followers now, a lot of people new joining us to IG Live. So I want to take the time again to explain that I am the creative director, but the founder of Tibi. I founded Tibi some 23 years ago, and Dion is our head stylist, and 8 years?
8 years in February.
8 years in February, so a long time. And one of the reasons why we started doing this is, you know, I wanted to come up with a term to really describe what Tibi is about, because I was always frustrated. It was kind of like we never had a home anywhere in people's minds, in stores, or in magazines. Everything was set up very clearly as you were either sexy, edgy, a bohemian, super feminine, or super minimalist.
Yes.
And there was nothing that really described our sense of style, which was truly what we referred to as a creative pragmatist, someone who really balances between creativity and pragmatism. And once I kind of found a way to articulate that, it really started to spin into a whole way of thinking. You know, when I was getting dressed, I thought, well, how do I explain our approach here? And we started coming up with all these different sayings as we created this new vocabulary to help explain why it is that many times when you're in your closet and you think you have all the right pieces and you put it on and just something's off and you can't really put your finger on it, and you go to a store and they're like, what are you talking about? You look fabulous. And so, you know, we wanted to be able to give you guys terminology that you can agree with or not agree with, but that you could start to think about it in easy ways in your closet. So starting out first with creative pragmatists, a quick run through. Actually, I just have this on my, yeah. So very quickly, creative pragmatist is someone who, I don't know why I even showed you that. I know you can't read it, but again, it is creativity and pragmatism, which is real functionality. And so it is someone who constantly is striking that balance. You know, the opposite kind of is like a real sexy bohemian. So Tibi's about being a creative pragmatist. So a couple of the key things about a creative pragmatist, and I hope you nod your head when I say these things, is creative pragmatists, they never want to sacrifice style for function, and they would never sacrifice functionality for style.
Big time.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. And it's always being appropriate in every setting you're in. It's about standing out but still blending. You're never going to be the hardcore peacock in the room.
Exactly.
That's never going to be you, but you are going to have a way of really showcasing what your personality is, your creativity, and not looking cookie cutter like everyone else, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
and in fact, if you walked into a room and other people were wearing what you were wearing, even the idea of it, you would
go home and change.
Yeah,
Because we do that. If we even when we're wearing the same outfit, I was like, one of us has to change, and it's usually me.
Exactly. And then the other thing too that is really big for a creative pragmatist is really infusing style into your everyday life. So it's not about, you know, I'm going to look like shit when I go to the store, I'm going to look like crap when I go into town, but when I go to this event or when I go to the office, I'm going to look great. So a creative pragmatist is really about, you know, infusing their world with style, but in a way that is really effortless.
Yes.
And so when we take you through the vocabulary today, it is with the guide of study, 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 get to know it so well that it does become effortless. But I caution you that if some of these things don't resonate at all and they are not problems at all, then it's not a problem. You don't have to learn it and you don't have to act on it. So this is really about if you have an aha moment when we say something, you're like, oh my God, that just explained everything, then that's great, now you know. Okay, so starting with the vocabs, all right? So what we're going to take you through are all of these different elements that we have been harping on over the last 25 weeks of this now. We're on like number 26, I think.
Wow.
So we're going to start with CMC. Great. Okay. So CMC stands for Classic, Modern, and Chill. And this really is the ultimate backbone of any outfit that a creative pragmatist wears. And sometimes you get that balance by each piece on your body representing one of these elements, and sometimes you get it all around because just like what I'm wearing right now is an example of it's chill, it's modern, and it's a bit classic too.
And same with my dress too. I mean, it's chill because it's technically a t-shirt dress. It's modern because it has a removable shoulder pad, but it's classic because it's just a midi length, just chill dress.
White, not shredded or anything
exactly.
like that. Okay, so chill, all right? So different fabrications that fall into chill are any natural fibers and things that have ease. You know, when you wear the fabric, it doesn't billow or flow behind you, but it has ease to it. The other core element of chill is that the fit is relaxed. The armholes might be extra deep. The pant might have a long rise to it. You know, so like if you're putting on a pair of pants and you can zip it in like 1/100th of a second, if it's like beep, then that's a low rise, that's not chill. You want a longer rise in the pant. That is nice and chill. And then colors, when you're wearing things that are chill, tend to be neutrals.
Yes. I will say, like, the Liam is a prime example of a chill silhouette because of the drop shoulder, and that's why it always works with every outfit.
And we love doing it in the neutral colors.
Exactly. It's usually in a neutral. Even if it's in a mixed pattern, it's still neutral, like the Matt's menswear.
Okay. These are not chill. Okay, we're going to give you examples of what is and what is not. So even though they looked, I mean, like, you know, they look like they're going to work out and everything, it should be chill. It's a little too forced, it's too tight, it's too shredded, it's not refined enough. Because in order for something to be chill in our world, where you will love it, it also has to have modernity to it, and it also has to have a sense of classic to it. And you can see that while these are, of course, like easy to wear, whatever, there's nothing modern about them. The fabrics aren't modern, the proportions are not modern. So this is not chill in our book. It's why when I go to California and I think like, oh my, you know, maybe I'll just do that California thing and I'll buy that like
sandblasted something.
Yes. Like
it never works. It never works.
I hate it. Like,
even when it's a good vintage straight leg jean, the second it has that sandy wash or it looks too like a little too antique, because we love vintage, but we don't like it when it's like that antique wash because it's just very forced.
So I just want to be clear for anyone tuning in that these are not endorsed, okay? I mean, these women, of course, like, they look like they've worked out forever, so they look good, but it's not style.
Yeah.
And the conversation today is about those nuances that get you to style. Because every, you know, cheesy website or every cheesy magazine can get you to this look. And then, you know, you've got Project Runway that talks about another look, but it's these little nuances that we're covering today. Okay, so modernity. So C, chill, M for modern. So modern, when you have things that are modern, the shapes are experimental, they're new and strange, they are a bit curious, and they are exaggerated proportions. In something modern, the fabrications tend to be man-made, bonded, awkward, and experimental, okay? So let me give you, like, of course, straight up modern is this. So just to give you something very extreme, right? We all get this, that Maura from Schitt's Creek here, who was actually modeled after Daphne Guinness, wearing all the designer, and then we've got, you know, the Rick Owens looks here. Super modern. But that creative pragmatist, she likes a balance. So we appreciate modernity. It's interesting to look at this extreme level, but it's not, it doesn't fulfill the notion of functionality.
Exactly. Like, and I feel like everyone in our office, when we get dressed, it's like, yeah, we love Comme des Garçons and Margiela and everything, but we pick where we want to go.
Yeah.
Like if it's like that deconstructed Margiela coat back to something chill underneath. It's never all like 100%.
And there's that heavy classicness to it that you would have.
Yeah, exactly.
And which brings us to the second C. So chill, modern, and now classic. So when things are classic, the shapes are familiar, a bit timeless, and the fabrications are heritage, luxury, pure, and neutrals. But remember, we don't love classic on its own without the modernity and the chillness. Because classic straight up gets you to like that average Everlane shirt, or it's like you get convinced that you need these basics, and then you get them and you feel basic, you feel average.
Or on that ultra feminine side of classic as well, to where you just look like you're in Breakfast at Tiffany's. Like you want to have a balance here.
So these are the classics, and okay, like these women look nice, right? I mean, and then we've got new Celine in there, like they're nice, but it's not style. It's
Yes.
not chill, and it is not modern. It is not a creative pragmatist style. So remember, we're not really deciding here what is fashion, what is not. This is not a creative pragmatist style. You think that this is good, you buy it, and then you get it on, and you're like, I don't feel interested.
You never feel,
Yeah.
Every time I try to do something that was a little too out of my comfort zone when it's classic, I always have to have something strange to balance it out.
Mess it up.
Like if I'm gonna wear a Manolo pump, I need to be wearing like a creepy tube sock or something
Exactly.
like that.
And something with very interesting proportions on top. So lovely, but not a creative pragmatist. Okay. So here now we've got some examples. This is like pure balance here. So in the middle, Bruna here is wearing our Merriam twill pants. They are classic in color. The twill is a classic fabrication. The style is very modern. It's sculpted, and then it's eased out. It's absolutely chill. And then this is a really nice balance to this top that, quite frankly, it's got 4 sets of arms on it.
Exactly.
So it's quite modern, but with 4 sets of arms, if she was wearing it with like this super aggressive modern bottom,
Too much.
She would fall back into a super modern world, and that would not be us, right? And we've got the J.W. Anderson here, and this is great because, it's like a ode to like a tuxedo dress,
Yes.
but super modern at the same time. So you've got the classic, you've got the modernity, and it's super, super chilled out. And then we have one of my favorite Margiela pieces here, which is like could not be more classic and interesting. In the coat here, we've got the modern fabrication on the skirt, all the neutral colors that take it down a notch. So this is the holy grail of the balance.
Definitely. Those are all like the best.
Exactly.
And I love how the pump is still interesting paired back to that tuxedo dress as well. Because it's still like it's a cool pump. It's not like your classic.
Yeah, it actually is a calf hair.
Yeah.
So that gives it, so that's the JW pump. Okay, we get a lot of questions
Oh my gosh.
about
yes.
this. People wanting to know color combinations, how to wear. So 1, ton, or none. That's the 3 options that we've come up with when you think about putting together color. And this really came about because when we're styling the runway show, this is very much how we think about things.
For sure.
And when we're designing the collection, it's very much how we think about things. And this is why kind of grabbing hold of this identity of a creative pragmatist was key, because we really do like 1, we like ton, and we like none. But this is where it gets confusing to a store. They would be like, "Oh, you have color," and
You're
therefore
the colorful brand.
Yeah, and I'm like, "We're not the colorful."
I'm like, we
brand,
gave you
so-
color on runway, but we have a whole.
But it doesn't mean that's how you don't
Exactly.
lose your shit and style it like crazy. So the notion of 1. Now, 1 doesn't have to be a bright color popping out. It's not like if you were Lucky Magazine where it was like, do a pop of color. It's not about a bright color popping out. When you have 1, it's about the fact that when you're looking at something, one thing pops out.
Exactly.
Right? So even though she's wearing like this cutout sweatshirt here, and these are all neutrals, the pant is still popping out at us. This one's kind of obvious. She's wearing the orange bag, so that's popping out. And then here she's got on the red shoe, and actually kind of the denim works as, you know, popping out as well too. So one ton or none, the one, like, of course it could be one strong color in here, but it can also be neutrals as long as something's popping out.
Yeah, and it can even be, I like to say when you're easing into it, accessories are always where people start experimenting. So many people are in my DMs asking like, oh, I bought this red impulse bag. How do I pair it? I'm like, everything else neutrals, make the bag the focal point, you know?
So actually with what you're wearing, your lipstick is one, right?
Lipstick is one,
And that is like perfect because that's the focal point. That's your
one. Because I almost never wear lipstick when I'm wearing colors.
No.
Like, it's just never happened.
No. And I don't wear it because it looks so stupid for some reason. Okay, ton. Right? So ton is just going full on with the color, just having fun with it. So like we've got the gold sequin dress here that we did a couple years ago, and I put it here with the Kate gold cowboy boot, right? So it's like going so full on that when you go so full on with the color, it actually calms down in your eye. You're seeing just one thing.
I don't know how many times we've talked about, especially with like orange and yellow, sometimes it's like if you go all versus just one with a color like that, it really does make it like almost hide in plain sight because it's tonal.
Hide in plain sight is the best way to describe that. So you can see it now from this visual. So like the Balenciaga dress here, like it is so full on, like amazing, just full on. But what happens a lot of times is people say, well, I want to wear a print, but I can't wear a print like that, so I'll do it safely. This becomes a freaking train wreck because the print then becomes so average when you pair it with something plain. Like you think that you become more quiet, but she's actually screaming and she is just chic and stylish. The same with pairing the print as a top with something plain. It just becomes
it dumbs it
average.
down.
It dumbs it down.
It dumbs it down, and I think that's where a lot of people make that mistake. And I think with prints, I'd like to say all or nothing.
Yeah,
because
just go big or go home. Yeah. All or nothing. Hide in plain sight. This is how a creative pragmatist does a print. If you're wondering why you are not comfortable in print, it's because you think that you are being safe and you're trying to figure it out. And in reality, those become really unsafe, and then the full-on, like Balenciaga here, becomes like the real style moment. And then we have none here, which, you know, we've got all the neutrals, really easy to sort this out. And what is important when you are dressing with none is textures.
Yes.
Yeah, because if you don't, you know, again, like not to riff on Everlane too much, but we know it's one of my favorites to riff on, is that it's it becomes very average, and you think that you are doing all the neutrals and you're wondering why you don't feel great, and it's because you did not mix up the textures. So here, when she's wearing like the Miriam twill pant and the cotton poplin shirt, she's mixing it with the high shine in the boot. Same with the more tweed here, you've got the twill ribbons on it that can come in and out. They have a piece of hardware, so you've got some toughness. When you have got a real heritage fabric with like tweed, mixing it with a bit of metal feels great. And then the shine, and then here she's all shine, so you are mixing it with a pebbled loafer. So you've got like the texture mix, and you've got like a dork mix, and that dorky thing always
makes
works.
it less edgy. Because if she was wearing a shoe with like a severe point, or even more shine, then it would be too edgy. And also, I will say that shine and shine only works if they're the same type of shine.
Yes.
If it's different types of shine together, you're gonna look like a Christmas ornament.
Yeah, so it's got to be the same fabric. So, same fabric. So don't be wearing like this shiny top with a satin skirt, okay?
Or a Lurex top.
No.
Ugh, no.
And then the long sleeve t-shirt dress, which is the long sleeve version of what Deanna's wearing, and she's got the patent boot on it, which again gives it the interest. Dion, you can't really see her feet, but she's wearing a fuzzy shearling shoe, so that gives it the dorky interest. So when you go head to toe neutrals, if you keep it all in the same fabric vein, you'll feel too mature. You really will. It will age you, and I don't mean age in a good way. Like it's age is great. I think women in their 70s, 80s, 90s, like there is a whole thing with just embracing style right now. So I think what it will do is it will age you, and you'll just feel slower. You'll walk really slow if you dress all in one texture. Okay, so in summary, these are actually some pictures from our pre-fall collection a few years ago, but it really sums up in just one collection how you can have none, you can have a ton, and you can have one. Okay, so this all is the same person. This woman who is wearing this, white relaxed suit here with a gray sweatshirt is the same person who's wearing this big sweatshirt and the printed skirt with the detailed boot, by the way, because I know I was just riffing earlier on wearing a print with the solid, but because she's got the boot with all the cutout detail, it's giving it some interest, and then going full on here with ton. So this is how you keep from feeling like you have multiple personalities. She is clearly the same woman, but she's enjoying wearing different things.
And actually, to talk about that with breaking up the print, I think that if she were wearing like that skirt with the sweatshirt and then just wearing like a plain leather shoe, that's when it would get into wrong territory,
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Sorry, I have to take a drink. We're talking a lot today. Okay, 12 mowers. We love 12 mowers, right? 12 mowers. And 12 mowers is any fabrication, any style that can take you through 12 months of the year. So the fabrications that work best for 12 mowers, they really have to be natural fabrications.
Definitely.
Because being able to breathe is really, really key. That's what, you can breathe it in the summer and then you can layer it in the winter time. So the ones that work best, patent lambskin, cashmere, 4-ply silk, chalky drape, merino wool, cotton poplin, and tropical wool. Now, I stress here that 4-ply silk is really what keeps something in the 12 mower world. And 4-ply silk is a luxury silk. It is much more expensive than 18 or 20 mommy lightweight silk. But the thing is when you can wear something for 12 months out of the year, you're going to get incredible use out of it. So you know that we like to look at clothing in terms of CPW. That is not a term that we have here, but that is cost per wear. And you were wearing that bias dress
Year round.
Year-round.
It's just, you're not going to ever get rid of me in that.
Yeah.
I will just keep wearing it forever. Because it can also make it very day to evening, and it's basically a blank canvas when you have a good 4-ply silk dress.
So, I get a lot of questions about price and everything. 4-ply silk is one that it rarely goes on sale for us, but I do think it's one that you can really find in vintage.
For sure.
And it's something to, when you do look to invest in single things in 4-ply silk are good to invest in. But I'm going to show you first patent, okay? So you can see here that patent is nice and lightweight, but I could layer it here with a big sweater and the big lay-in blazer and a tall boot, and it's perfect for the dead of winter. I can put it on with this shirt, and it's great for going out, a little tank top here, an open back sweater, a slide, and then in the summertime I would go on vacation and I would pack it with this little one bodysuit with that and a little sandal. So it really is a year-round item. One of the terms that we are not going to go into depth here today because we've talked about it so much recently is PDW.
Yes.
And the thing about a 12 mower also is they tend to be your PDWs, things that you can wear for play and dinner and work.
And
this
also
is one of
woofs
them.
as well.
Exactly, which we
We'll
will
get
get into the woofs.
Yes, we will get into that. It's coming.
It's coming. Okay, another great 12 mower is tropical wool. It breathes. It is absolutely perfect with a tank top, perfect with sweaters. It can live forever.
Yeah, when you're searching for that perfect trouser that's got the nice relaxed fit, it's modern and chill, tropical wool, virgin wool blend, that's what you want to get. Yeah.
So a lot of you guys ask, like, what are the starter pieces that I need to get to build my wardrobe? This is, you know, the pant in tropical wool is definitely a starter.
Yeah.
And I want to caution for sure is, you know, I started Tibi 23 years ago, so you guys can start to like take some stabs at my age. And this closet was built up over time. So this is not about you running out with a list of 40 items to go buy. And it's not about being panicked and making you feel bad. This is about a slow build up, but just making sure that when you do buy things, that you're buying the right things.
Exactly, the right one. I can't stress this enough because I get so many people writing me saying, I need my like first blazer, I need it now. And I'm like, actually, we've got some fundamentals coming later that will actually satisfy that need, that of the thing that you want, rather than you going to buy this more in and out style, you know? Yeah. It's just, especially with a blazer and trouser, like you will find it.
Just wait, be patient, and don't overbuy, for sure.
Because not everyone, like, I feel like everyone is a Stella pant, but not everyone is a Taylor pant. So like finding like that slim pant is gonna take a minute, you know.
And we're gonna go over that in the wolves. You guys are, it's gonna be good. Okay, so 12 mower, another example is lambskin leather. So lambskin is very supple and pliable. It breathes. You know, look for the words when you are shopping. There will be goat skin or like cow skin leathers. Heavier leathers are not as year round. I mean, like a heavy leather short can be year round, but really like the investment in like a good lambskin pencil skirt or something tends to be one that you will wear like crazy. So you can see from my old Instas that it doesn't matter the season, where.
And also for those of you who don't wear leather, like even the tissue faux leather, it just gives you that same texture that you're really striving to have.
And the tissue faux leather, it's definitely a good start, for sure. Like for me, you know, the thing about the faux leathers is they don't last forever.
Yeah, you want more substance.
They don't.
Yeah.
And so I think that, but when you're starting out, I mean, I'm sorry, but, you know, it wasn't until I was 30 that I could even consider purchasing like a real leather skirt. Although I did buy a really good vintage one in Miami, and I still wear it. So
yeah,
vintage
you can
is
find
a great
great vintage ones too. Because I feel like my favorite pair of leather pants is from like the early 80s. It's got the perfect rise for my waist. Love them, you know? And then as far as the skirts go, I always feel like this Tibi skirts always fit me really well, so that I can, and I feel like I can wear them with like a t-shirt or a sweatshirt or something and dress it down.
Yeah, so don't rule out vintage, but you want to look for simplicity in it, because if you are going to be wearing it forever, don't do some weird top stitching or something like that.
No excessive hardware. Yeah.
I know someone sent me, I won't say the brand, but someone sent me this pair of cowboy boots, and they were white and they had all this black top stitching, and it literally, like, it looked like something that, like, you know, a 12-year-old would wear at a, you know, in Texas at a beauty pageant, like with a baton. And it just, and it was definitely a moment. It was a trend thing. It was a good brand, but I was like, you're not going to wear it, because if you're a creative pragmatist, when you get something like that, that is a cool classic cowboy style, I love that. But if it's got that bold black top stitching, it just looks like fussy, and it's not quiet enough, and you're going to hate it.
Yeah, it goes from like half to half.
Yeah, so when you think about your 12 mowers, they need to really be able to like do some very heavy lifting in your closet. Okay, this is a favorite thing that people love to talk about and have lots of questions about, and this is, what is a skin sandwich? Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit more about skin sandwiches, how to identify them and how to fix them. And you guys have to admit, like, it feels really good to be talking for an hour about stuff where skin sandwiches are our biggest problem, okay?
Yeah, also that's like the saddest looking sandwich ever. It didn't even have any condiments on it. What, like, stock photo?
I know, it was like a nasty bologna,
it's
which
like
I kind of like secretly love. But, okay, all right, so examples of skin sandwiches. You guys, they are these like little slivers here, right? See that little sliver?
You can see my look of disgust right now.
Sliver, sliver, sliver. They're ones like when you stand in your closet and you've got that little sliver, you feel shorter. And I don't mean shorter like short is not fine because short is fabulous, but feeling cut off and not your height that you are feels awkward, and that's what I mean by that. So you don't want this little.
Nobody wants that sliver of flesh. Aren't you cold? If you're wearing a boot, you know, and a
No
full
one wants
pants.
it. So I'm going to show you the cheap way to fix it though, because fixing a sandwich is not always about buying new shoes to, make sure the sandwiches never happen. So here we have Bruni here as we shot her, but here I gave her a little sandwich to give you an effect of, how fucked up would she, she
She
would
would
so
not be
chic here.
cool.
Not cool.
She would not be cool.
You would not feel good. All of a sudden, it's not stylish. You've got this little sliver of skin here. So obviously, knee-high hosiery works, a black sock works, and a full tight works. Just fake it. And that's the beauty about being a creative pragmatist is you are letting pragmatism really lead the way, functionality. If it is more pragmatic to just put a black sock on rather than to go buy a brand new shoe, then put the black sock on. And when you do that, you feel smart, you didn't overinvest, and feeling smart to me is one of the most critical things to looking great. Like, you're smart, you're curious, it's interesting. But we're gonna give you a fun little hack here with the hose. So Dion and I, if you go to the butcher and they show how to chop up a cow, this is how we think about our hosiery. So you've got a full-on pair of tights, and we like to chop it up and use all the body parts. So sometimes here when I want to cover up a piece of skin, especially if it's the amount between a skirt and the top of a boot, but I don't want to wear I don't want to wear a full tight, it's too hot. Sometimes I'll just cut this part off and I'll wear that. So if I was standing there naked, I would look insane with just these little little rugby kneecaps on. But that's what I do. And then make them into socks. And then, you know what, bonus, use the top part as a headband. So chop up your tights, use them, okay? All right, so we have lots of other good variations of how you would cover up a skin sandwich, and make sure that you give yourself more distance here. If you are wearing the short boot here, it's really interesting doing the boot in a contrast. That's the Theo booty that I think is probably sold out now in the outlet, but a lot of you guys picked that up last weekend. Of course, Balenciaga with the head toe is amazing. This is our faux crocodile skirt with the dark boot. And then even wearing the tights with the pump, which sometimes can feel a little bit lady, but when you're mixing it with something so modern, and she's got the rubber hose belt on here, which I think is still in the outlet, when you do the route with the tight and a more traditional pump, then mix it up with something really weird and crazy.
Also, for those of you who are asking about slippage, I always say if you go into the foot care aisle of any drugstore, you can find the little pads to put on the ball of your foot for a little extra coverage, or you can use double stick tape, because that's what we normally do.
Yeah.
That way you can just keep walking in them and you don't feel that slippage. I have a narrow foot, so that's a constant knee problem.
So sometimes you guys will send me a DM trying to catch me out. You're like, Amy, you've got a sandwich here. There are actually good sandwiches. So this is a nice distance. This is a good sandwich, okay? All right.
It's only when it's ever so slight of a sliver, where it's just enough skin to make the leg line feel very awkward and off. Normally you'll know when you see it. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. You really can't. I can. I'm on the subway all day, I'm like, sandwiches. They're everywhere,
Okay. We're going to talk about your closet now, and what should be in your closet and how to think about your purchases. And I promise you, once you guys get the hang of this is going to be your game changer, super game changer, because you are going to stop wasting so much money. So what we do is we have 3 elements of our closet: woofs, I&Os, and HTHs, okay? So I'm going to go through each of these, and I promise this will be a game changer, and if it's not, then come on. And this is going to apply if you're not a creative pragmatist. If you are super sexy bohemian woman, you're going to see that there's an application here as well. Okay, so the first are the woofs, W-O-F-S, woofs. And these are the items that absolutely live in your closet. When you put them on, you always feel like you. When you do not have anything to wear, you pull them out. They do not put you in a rut, and in fact, they are the very pieces that keep you from getting in a rut, and I will explain what that means. They allow you to try new things and still feel like yourself. They reduce your risk of buying shit you will never wear. Woofs. So I've included my woofs. Now, one of the things to really do is go think about what your woofs are, because everyone has different ones. You and I have different woofs.
For sure.
So for me, these are my woofs, okay? I always have in my closet a big gigantic trench coat, a slimmer but longer menswear blazer, an oversized Liam type blazer, some type of car cut coat, and then some type of overcoat that has a big armhole in it so I could wear like a really big sweater underneath it. Then these are my tops that I always have. They tend to have higher necklines. And then these are the bottom pants that I always have, and these are the 4 skirt shapes. These are always in my closet. Now a trend might come and go where for maybe years I might want things higher or lower, but these are absolutely the things in some variation or form that live in my closet. When I am tearing things apart and I have nothing to wear, if I make sure that one of these pieces is on me, then everything calms down. And when I'm dressed in something where not any piece on me looks like any of this, I tend to not look like myself.
Yeah, it's almost like you're wearing a costume.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm just trying something on for size, okay? So these are my woofs. You decide on what your woofs are. They don't have to be the same as mine. And if you'll hold that one out for a second, because we'll use it again. Okay, so in and outs. So I and O's, in and outs. These are the new items you buy. You wear them for a few seasons or years. You love them, but then you tire of them. But they can't be resold because you wore them too much, and that's a great thing. You got value out of them. When you wore them, you felt new and modern. They tapped your curiosity. It allowed you to try new things, but you always felt like yourself because you wore them back with your woofs. And that is key. This is, you make the best purchases when you think about your new and modern pieces, about whether or not they will go with your woofs. So, you know, if you don't have your own Instagram feed, really take a lot of pictures of yourself in your woofs, because when you're out shopping, you should always be having a woof on you, because first of all, you're supposed to always have something on you that is a woof. But when you're trying on new things, you really want to try it on with your woofs. If you order things on e-commerce, get your woofs out and try them on with your woofs. So here's an example of, I showed you guys the drawings of my woofs. So here's an example where these are more extreme pieces in my closet. So the other day I photographed myself wearing the new Margiela ripped jean, okay? I love the Margiela ripped jean. I don't think I'm gonna have it and wear it for the next 4 years, but right now I love it. But if I had worn the Margiela ripped jean with, like, let's say the Gucci sweater here, I would not have looked like myself at all. And that's where it gets really, like, make sure that you are constantly grounding yourself in you. So when I wear the Margiela with the Margiela ripped jeans here, putting it back with like our cashmere camel sweater, like there's just no doubt that it's me. And on its own, someone might be like, really, did you buy a jean that's like huge with a big rip in it? And it's like, I did, I loved it. But I definitely, this is how I want to wear it. And then you see it and you're like, of course, that makes sense. And the same with, like, I love this Gucci sweater. On the surface, I don't think people associate this kind of sweater with me. But when I put it on with our black leather joggers, I totally felt like me. And this is when I said that in your woofs in your closet, they never keep you in a rut, because they are the very thing that is allowing you to get out of a rut. because without them, you look crazy and you end up not trying new things. You get burned too many times. You get like this pile up in your closet, and then you retreat to safety. So the woofs are what allows you to constantly be trying new things. The Chris Kane sweater here with this like crochet sleeve, I love. Like I'm wearing it with my black Ray jeans here, and then the Vêtement dress. It's floral. It's not necessarily something that I would wear, but when I'm pairing it with my navy blue tropical wool blazer, it is absolutely me.
Yeah, your favorite blazer is really like your security blanket when you're trying on a dress, especially when you're playing around with like a print or a new shape. I feel like I always bring that in the fitting room when I try on, for sure.
So shop with your woofs, and for sure when you do an e-commerce purchase, get your woofs out there, and that will tell you whether or not you are going to really, really, really wear something. And then had to haves, okay? These are the items that they're kind of like your secret. You are not sure why you're drawn to them. You love them so much. You almost never wear them, but you're not going to get rid of them. But what's really important is with the had to haves is they really need to represent the least amount of space in your closet. Otherwise, you'll go broke. And I will say this too, even if you're not at risk of going broke because you've got so much bank, calm down your had to haves, because if not, you look like that crazy rich woman. You look like a hot mess. And then as Dion says, you do not deserve your money.
No, you don't deserve it. Hit my Venmo. Seriously though, especially at that time when everyone was really hardcore into logomania, and then people just looked out of their minds. They all looked insane. Crazy. You looked nuts. Sorry, but it's just pick and choose. I think maybe a good example of that is like if you're trying to go into trend driven, only get one of that trend each season. Do not get multiple. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So even if you can afford tons of had to haves in your closet, it does not mean that you should have them. Stay focused. Mm-hmm. Make these truly things that you love, love, love. So I'm going to show you examples of my had to haves. And actually, disclosure, I don't own any of these, but these are things that like they're my secrets I would kill for. I always loved Leandra in this dress. I have this weird fixation for like
it's a good dress.
White lacy things. I mean, it's like I love it.
It's still not you, but it makes sense in that silhouette. Yeah.
I know, and it's really interesting because if any other designers are watching here, the had to haves, like you can sprinkle them in your collections, but this is one where like Tracy, my head of design, would never wear this in 1,000 years, and she was like, Amy, if you try and get me to do this one more time, don't, because it confuses people. So this is my secret had to have. And then this Chris Kane, like over the top, amazing thing, this Balenciaga, just like crazy, I love it, Prada, and then the Dries men here. So these are my had to haves, but you can imagine that if my closet was filled with these, like I wouldn't be able to get dressed in the morning. I would be so damn confused. So let the in and outs really work back with your woofs, and then use these very, very, very sparingly. Okay. The next one we get a lot of questions on too.
Oh, yes.
Big slim skin. So this is about working proportions, and this is something that, you know, have this in the back of your mind when you are when you feel off, when you feel like either you are too long and lean or too big. So I'll show you. Show you some bad ones here. So obviously here we have all skin, all slim, and all big. Okay. So first of all, besides just being incredibly tacky, which I mean, again, I'm not going to judge. Whatever. I mean, you know what? I say that because I don't have the body for this, and so I can say it because, you know, it makes me feel better about myself, which is like honestly why some people say mean things. Anyways, these are the stereotypes of them. Okay, so I want this in your head. This is not what you were going for in how you dress, but when I say skin, I mean showing some skin, showing some slim, and showing some big. but just not doing it so literally straight up. Because when someone does anything literally straight up, whether it's this or whether it's this, it actually either becomes very uninteresting or just a little too costumey. And I understand from a designer point of view, of course, why you would do that on the runway, because you really have a few minutes to make a statement that something is about something. So I understand that, but it doesn't mean that you want to go running out and dressing like that.
Definitely. I think also, if for a lot of people who are CPs that want to try something like a mini skirt or even like a bias dress that's shorter, I always take like the Mariah Carey approach. You know, when she did the Grammy, she did the black tights with it. That way she had just enough skin on top, but not skin on bottom. Exactly. Top and bottom.
Or like the big Liam blazer, something to like balance it out.
I always do an oversized with whatever. If I'm doing mini, there's probably going to be an oversized jacket on my shoulder.
Yeah, because, you know, we love the biker shorts too, but we did love them with the big blazer. And it's funny because I got a lot of grief last week, because in my pictures of CPers, I had one of Hailey Bieber wearing our suit. And so many people are like, "Rah, she cannot be a creative pragmatist." But really Google her, look at her style, and she's really nailed the concept of big slim skin. She does a great job with her proportions.
Yes.
So go back and look at her with a different eye. I think you'll really appreciate some of her
looks. She's got a good
looks.
stylist.
Yeah. Okay, so here I've just pulled up some pictures, and then Miss Balenciaga woman here. So this is a picture that from an outfit that I wore recently. But again, when I was wearing the Miriam twill pant, and I put it on with the big Liam blazer, the Matt's blazer that I love, I really wanted to have a shoe here that had some skin to it. Okay, now I'm wearing socks, so I'm not physically showing the skin, but it's nice and slim, and you get the idea that my ankle is there. And so it's giving you a place for your eye to rest. And had I, I love the big Balenciaga, big fat chunky boot right now, but if I put that on with this, any kind of welly short boot or something, it just would have overwhelmed me.
Yes.
So this is a really good way to do it and still look incredibly chic. And then we have Ash here, and she's wearing the dress that Dion is wearing. So you've got the really strong shoulder, and then so there's your big, and then slim all the way down here. And then she's got her arms exposed here and her neck. So you can imagine if she was big all through here, and then wearing a big coat and maybe a hat or something, she gets too covered up. So the little bit of skin showing, the slim here, the big, really great. Same here with the sweater that I'm wearing. I've got the pop of my arm coming out, a little bit of skin. The sweater's nice and oversized, very rich. And then I've got the slimmer pencil skirt on with it. So it's really the whole balance on the body between big, slim, and skin. And then here in the Balenciaga, she's got the slim boot here. She's got the open neck, and then the nice and big, right? So it's all about the balance. And it is not about the height, and it's not about the weight. It is about the balance, because a lot of you guys write to me and you say, I absolutely can't pull off anything oversized, and I think that you can. I think you just need to think about the balance. So keep trying. 3 is complete. There is a Latin phrase. I'm going to butcher this and then get made fun of. Omne trium perfectum. I guess there's no accent on a Latin phrase.
There's not really, because we don't really even know how it sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, technically.
Good point.
Yeah.
Okay, but what it means is every set of 3 is complete. There's a certain symmetry in 3s. The thought is that information revealed in 3s makes the speaker sound smart while being both catchy and concise. So that's why you have sayings like ready, set, go, and lights, camera, action, right? No one ever says lights, camera, because if you said it, you'd be like, I know there's got to be something else. Or if you were like lights, camera, action, go, that's like, it stops you, right? So it's funny how these really natural things that occur then also translate into fashion as well. And so when you feel off, a lot of times it's because you went with 4, or you went with 5, or you went with 2. So let's look at 3 as complete. Okay. So here, right, we've got Aisha Curry and
Katie
what's her name?
Holmes.
Katie Holmes. All right, so they're wearing the Tibi shoulder blazer from Interesting Shoulder Blazer from Spring. It's in that really modern fabrication. So, sorry guys, I'm coming. I can't read this one backwards, but you've got basically the texture and the shoulder here, so super modern. You've got some skin action going on here, and then a silver pant, right? So she's got three things here. So what you can see is what Aisha did not do is she chose to not wear big hair, big earrings, or anything like that. She went all out with three here, and then everywhere else just stayed quiet. So had she done, just a big gigantic earring, it would have been four, and it would have tilted her outfit off.
Yeah, I feel like minimal jewelry if we're gonna go there. Cause
minimal jewelry. If she had been wearing,
pants,
if she had been wearing like a black jean,
mm-hmm.
then she could have gone full on with the jewelry.
Very, very true. The shiny pant is the jewelry. Like that's a huge distinction when it comes to metallics.
Yeah. And so then we've got Katie here, and she's got the black shine pants, so she's got her threes as well, and therefore she went quite minimal everywhere else. And a lot of times when you're in your closet and you might be blaming the outfit, make sure to look at your hair and make sure to look at the lipstick.
If you are using getting a blowout with like a roller brush, stop.
Yeah, it's like, if it's in a dry bar menu and it's named after a cocktail, especially one in the South.
Put the roller brush down.
Yeah.
It's just too much volume. Like the higher the hair, whatever that thing is, it's not true. I think if you, especially I get a lot of DMs from women who, it's funny, they write to me and they're like, I'm an older woman. I'm like, great, well, we're the same age, so thanks for that. But, the way that the reason why they DM me is they say, but I can't, because I can't do what you're doing. Mm-hmm. And I can't wear my hair the way you're wearing it. And it's just about having a mindset that is curious and interesting and modern. Mm-hmm. It's not about young, it's not about old. It's about trying new things. And a lot of times, if you have old hair, it's not even that your hairstyle is technically old, but if it is old, it means that it's been on your head in that hairstyle for a very long time. And it might be time to change it up and try something new. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've had the same hairstyle since I was like 6, so it's probably time to change.
Yeah, but you work like a lot of different...
I do.
You totally do different things. You do bangs, you did the...
I did do bangs. I've done my box braids. I've done a lot of stuff there. Done the curl. Oh yeah, I had that curly shag for a minute. Yeah. But like, I only do it for a short... My hairstyles are like in and outs. I always just miss a ponytail. Yeah. But like, I think... And I also want to say, like, when I'm talking about volume, I'm saying artificial volume. Like, if you've got big curly hair, own it. Love it. With it. But if you're going to a place to get a blowout and they're giving you, like, that, Miss Universe blowout with, like, the swoop, that's what I'm talking. Just don't do that. Whatever your natural texture is, cool. We love it. But if you're doing that intentionally, it just looks too pressed. That means, like, if you're wearing a CP outfit, it's just going to kind of add this element of just feeling very forced. It's it's like if you have an iron that gives you a beach wave.
Yeah,
let's not.
It's just, I think that what you realize is that when every piece of you is so put together, you're going to start to realize that maybe the solution is to unravel a part of it. Okay, and for me, a lot of times it is about like just making sure that the hair is extra simple and that the makeup is extra simple. Yes. I think, we were looking at the pictures of Carolyn Bessette Kennedy the other day. She was, she was beautiful, but she followed big time the rule of, when the dressier she was, the less makeup she was wearing and the more chill she was.
Yeah, in her hair. Even at her wedding, her hair was just kind of in a low bun, very fresh face. That's an old one.
Yeah.
Yes, there's not one more.
All right, last one. This was Jen Wonders at one of our, Jen Wonders is the name of her Instagram handle. at one of our shows, and so she is wearing the full-on plaid suit, and I'm just showing here how she went quite clean here, and she is definitely letting the hair be the third element for her. So she's got the platform shoe, the full-on plaid, and then the hair is the third element, and I love that. And now that you look at this, if the hair was super clean and sleek, I don't think it would look as fabulous.
It would look a little too like.
Well, I would want to add a piece of jewelry. Or
Yeah,
something.
she would need
I mean,
like a statement earring or something.
The hair is definitely playing the role of one of the elements here.
Definitely.
So, guys, I hope that you've taken notes, but we will save this on Tibi's Instagram, and I promise you, all this stuff is the combination of years and years of like thinking about this stuff nonstop, building up my own personal closet, and designing stuff that hopefully reflects this. So some of it, like I said, you may not agree with it, or you may just be like, oh my God, this is way too complicated. How do I remember all these things? But I promise you, getting the DMs from many of you, there are like, I get these like DMs, and then all of a sudden there's this DM that's like, oh my God, I fucking get it. I totally get it now, and my life has changed.
Yeah, and then they send photos, and you're like, you do get it.
Yay.
Yeah, it's very exciting to have. Love it.
Because the holy grail for a CPer is you are out just living your life, and someone walks by you and they're like, damn, she's got style. Not like, damn, she must be going someplace fabulous. They're just thinking you're out just walking through town and you look totally appropriate, but very stylish, and then most importantly, like yourself. Okay? All right, guys, have a great night, and I hope that this was informative, and thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Okay.
Good job.